Check out what the satisfied Dan Gemus real estate team clients are saying about working with the Dan Gemus team. Visit dangemus.com.
I got to thank you for being a voice of reason in a sea of insanity.
Now back to the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show on AM 800.
Okay, welcome back to the show, everyone. Easter Sunday here on AM 800 and everywhere else you're listening. It's Easter Sunday, so hope you're enjoying the long weekend. And it's time for our segment with our good friend Christian Janisse from SimplyClose Law Firm. Christian, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Dan. How are you?
Well, hope you're enjoying this long weekend and this Easter Sunday with the family. Thanks for taking a few minutes for us.
I appreciate it, and yes, I am.
Newborn. Exciting
First
times.
Easter.
First Easter. Oh, my goodness. Listen, our fun question today, while I have you, is what's your favorite Easter treat? What would you say? Is your favorite Easter
mini
treat?
eggs.
Oh, really? Mini eggs. Okay, yep, 100%.
Right, simple.
Can't go wrong with mini eggs. I personally love a good hollow bunny. Milk chocolate. It has to be hollow, though, not solid. So
okay. I mean, I don't discriminate when it comes to candy. If it's Oreos, hollow bunnies, whatever you want, I'll eat it.
Oh my goodness! I also like Peeps, the marshmallow Peeps. Love those.
Me too. Yeah, marshmallow. Yeah.
We're not picky. We're not a picky bunch over here. So listen, today's topic is all about new builds. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So there's always. Obviously, we've talked about like doing the inspections and whatnot for a regular purchase. But when it comes to new builds, one of the biggest things that people need to be aware of, particularly when they're buying, is the additional fees that can come with a new build.
Yes.
So just generally speaking, by law, every single new build contract has what's called a carry-on warranty, which most people might be familiar with. But it also mandates that a specific form is automatically attached to the agreement of purchase and sale, whether it's actually attached or not. It's incorporated by reference by law. And most builders will include that. But in that, like that schedule, there'll be a number of additional charges listed that the builder may not tell you about. So buyers should be wary of that and check everything to make sure that, if they're buying it for $950,000, not only does that include HST, but what are the additional fees that the builder may be charging?
Give us some examples, Christian, of what you've seen.
So driveway deposits are really common, and oftentimes most people aren't opposed to paying the driveway deposit. They're just shocked that they have to pay $2,000 on closing and that they'll get that money back from the municipality after they do the driveway themselves. Other costs would be the carry-on enrollment fee, which is based on the purchase price of the house. So it could be anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000, if not more. Just depends on how much their house costs. Some of the condos have some insane fees, to say the least. They have like hydro and electricity setup charges, and they can add up to about $30,000 additional dollars.
Holy moly!
You don't see that often around here, just to be clear. But we do real estate all across Ontario, so I've done some in Toronto, and they add on a lot of extra fees. The other thing would be like a sidewalk security deposit, a tree planting fee for $500, but you're not necessarily going to get a tree on your property. Builders can add on whatever they want. I mean, in fact, I remember us talking about this a couple of years ago where a builder said that if the price of materials goes up by more than 10%, the buyer's on the hook.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is totally legal if the buyer, like if you agree to that,
right?
Sure.
If you're agreeing to it, no doubt.
So with the new build contracts, you just got to be careful because there's a lot more paperwork. It's not like a standard ORIA form, the standard form that the realtors use, which is only 6 pages, and you might add a schedule or two. They're usually 40 or 50 pages. It's bogged down with a whole bunch of details. So you just want to be very cautious with what you're getting. There's the statement of critical dates that are in there too. So oftentimes, depending on how new the new build is, if it hasn't been built at all and it's being built from scratch, the builder actually has the ability to move the closing date with certain notice to you. So they can give you notice and move the date by, depends on how many dates they put in the schedule, but let's say they can move it by another 30, 60, 90 days. Yeah. And you won't be compensated for that. So, I mean, some people are a little shocked because of like, well, I sold my house and it's closing this day. Like how I didn't realize the builder could just change the date without any penalty. If they don't give you notice, you can get the delayed closing compensation, but even that's only capped at $7,500.
Yeah, it's not much. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, for $1 million property now, which if you're building something new, it's between 6, 7, 8, and $1 million plus.
Yeah, I had a client that bought on Boblo Island, and it was delayed by a year because not because the builder didn't want to build it, but because there was a bunch of red tape around getting the building permits, and they had to pay for they had to rent a condo on Boblo Island for about a year.
Jeez.
Yeah, so there's all these extra costs. So when it comes to new builds, you have to be a little more diligent than you would be with a standard form. You do need to be diligent with a standard form. I tell everybody this, but with new builds in particular, it's just a whole different ball game. And, you have to have an experienced realtor that's dealt with them and knows what to look for.
That's the key, naturally. Right?
Yeah, because I see a lot of people signing these condo agreements, and they're not like Toronto, but they do come with some extra costs. Like one of the things that one of the condo developers around here does is they collect the taxes for you a year in advance. And, a lot of people are shocked because they're like, I'm paying the taxes for next year in advance now because the taxes aren't assessed. And yes, that money is for their benefit, but they still have to provide that upfront now.
Of course.
And oftentimes they haven't factored that into their budget.
Yeah, well, who would? That's a big amount, right?
Yeah, and not every builder does that. Sometimes if the taxes aren't assessed, the builder just does no assessment for taxes, and then you do a readjustment afterwards to see who owes who money.
That is definitely one of the biggest challenges in this business. With we have so many builders across Windsor-Essex, and many of them use their own offers, right? Their own agreements of purchase and sale. So it's not like they're using a standard form; they're using their own forms oftentimes. So you have to really make sure that the due diligence is done, the research is done, and that your realtor is, you like Christian mentioned, you have someone representing you properly, that knows what they're doing, and that knows how to basically research and read up on the proper paperwork and the forms.
Yeah, because the standard OREO form is 6 pages, so the realtors are dealing with it every day. They should be familiar with it. But with the new builds, the one that we talked about a couple of years ago, they can put whatever they want in there. So if you don't catch it, like you caught it and said, "How does this sound to you?" and we were like, yeah, this doesn't sound right. Like your purchase price is theoretically an unlimited amount.
Yes. Scary.
Like you don't know how much they're going to go up by. Maybe they go up by nothing. Maybe it's, maybe it only goes up by 2%, but in theory, it could go up by an unlimited amount, and you are going to be on the hook for that, or risking losing your deposit.
I think back to the heat of, the height of COVID as well, when all that started happening, and builders, we all know that builders' costs were skyrocketing, lumber costs, all the materials, labor. And the reason that we started seeing that was because a lot of builders had signed agreements and had agreed on a certain price, and the next thing you know, they were upside down. They were losing money on a build because the costs have skyrocketed. So the builders were starting to protect themselves by including those clauses. But again, like you said, it could have gone up to whatever, which that to me, how does a buyer agree to that? That's difficult. Yeah, and I don't see any issue with them charging the additional fees as long as everybody's aware of them. Sure.
Right? So they know what's going in, like what they're getting themselves into. Because the builders are just trying to offset, like they're trying to market it, so they might advertise the house at a lower price, knowing that they're going to collect another $10,000 on the side to recover. So, but if the buyers don't know about it, then it just results in, pissed off buyers fighting with the builder. The builder's upset because they're like, well, it's in there, you signed it. So it's just better if everybody does their due diligence and
the biggest challenge we've had over the years with builders is just the lack of communication, right? And buyers, as we know, especially in today's world, right? Buyers, they want to know what's happening. They want to know what's happening now. And so builders don't necessarily work that way because, well, they're busy or they're just doing whatever, not communicating. And next thing you know, you have animosity building up and you have buyers that are, angry because they're not hearing back and the communication stinks and it just spirals from there. And so, to me, you have to work on that communication. That's the key. That's the key for the relationship to work properly.
I'm just laughing because that's pretty much the only issue I had with my builder was just trying to get a hold of him.
Yeah,
tells you, oh yeah, I'm going to be there today. Doesn't come. But that's That is,
and they don't appreciate that. You also have a busy schedule, and you've agreed to be that there at a certain time to meet them, and just not showing up without notice is not. It's not very professional.
Sometimes it's not even the builder; they have to send somebody else, and they'll say like, "Oh, the roofer's coming, the electrician's coming," but even those guys can often be
all over the place. I know, it's tough business.
It's crazy.
Sure. So, would you ever build again?
No.
Oh boy. Well, it stinks. It wasn't a good experience for you guys, and I'm sorry to hear that, because it's we've built we built our own house. Gemus Homes built our own house, obviously. This last one we were in, but we had a builder build our last one, and it was a pretty good experience. So we were decently happy with it. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't horrible. But the reason we had Gemus Homes for 6 years was for that reason. We wanted to try and change that experience for buyers, but we stopped during COVID. It was just the uncertainty in the marketplace with the trades and with the products was just not enjoyable for us. So
it's a crazy business to be in.
It's a crazy business to be in for sure. Is there anything else to mention that's been happening in the industry in the last month or so? That's something we should be watching out for. Are you seeing a trend with the market at all right now?
No, I've actually I thought maybe things would slow down because of the tariffs and everything, but it hasn't hit us yet. But I guess we're working on deals from a few months ago. You signed a few months ago, so it might hit us. But everything is the rates have come down, so I've been seeing a lot more buyers out there. A lot of new first-time home buyers back out there because the rates are a little bit lower now.
Yes.
I've had a couple in the last month that are under 4%.
Jeez. Yeah, we saw some at 3.89 a little while back. Yeah, they've come back up a little bit in the last week or two. But we're seeing under 4 for sure.
Yeah.
Considering we were up to 6 and above, that's a pretty big win.
No, that's huge. Because my rate was 3.9, but I locked it in 2021.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's fantastic. Well, I'm glad that everything's going well on your end with the family. Hope you're all enjoying this Easter Sunday and the long weekend. You guys are back to work. Are you guys off tomorrow? You guys are off Monday?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and back to work on Tuesday for you guys. So there you go. Enjoy, Christian. Thanks so much for spending time with us today, and we'll chat and get with you in May.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
Bye.
That's Christian Janisse, real estate lawyer with SimplyClose. So some great tips there from him. And it's building a new house can definitely be stressful. There's no doubt about it. We have helped so many clients over the years, hundreds with new builds, and we have a lot of experience. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to the team. We're always happy to help. You can find us online, dangemus.com, or reach out to us at the office, 519-566-5565. We're going to come back with lots more right here on the Dan Gemus Real Estate Show.